This is 102.3 WHIV LPFM in New Orleans. We are Radio Null HIV with programming. That's right, programming dedicated to human rights and social justice. WHIVFM.org. We honor independent voices. We are not a radio station with a mission. No, we are a mission with a radio station. Hello, everybody out there. My name is Dr. Mark Allen Derry, and I am an infectious disease doctor. Welcome to COVID NoiseFilter, the daily hour-long show, the every other day daily hour-long show. Sitting across the digital divide for me is not Doc Griggs. I may be doing this show solo. I may be joined by Doc Griggs a little bit later today. I'm not entirely sure what is going to be happening, so hopefully we'll be able to have Doc Griggs join us in just a bit, as I always enjoy doing the show with Doc Griggs, as he is my partner when it comes to doing this. So, and also, quite frankly, you have some folks that can talk by themselves for an hour or several hours a day. I do not have that talent. While, yes, I do have the gift of gab, I do not have the ability to talk off the top of my head, much like the esteemed Doc Griggs is able to do so on a regular basis. So with that being said, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. It is a pleasure. Before we get started with the show, a couple of things I wanted to talk about, and that is, and I tried to get a story on it for today, but I couldn't find it. And again, we are moving the show to kind of focusing away from COVID exclusively. We are starting to move into more general medicine topics. And so, but I do want to talk about, I did receive a interview request today from a journalist from Vice. So hopefully by next week, there'll be a really cool Vice article up. But they wanted to talk to me about Novavax. And I wanted to talk about Novavax. We've talked about Novavax here on NoiseFilter, the Streamcast, before in the past. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about it today, in that it's not something that we are talking about very much. And I don't understand why there is not more information about Novavax. So I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss that Novavax is a super interesting a vaccine. It had something like 90+% efficacy when the trials came out in December or January. So the trials have been out for a long time. Now, for one thing, they did not apply for FDA approval here in the US. I'm not 100% clear why they didn't. It is being used in different parts of the world. It is a 2-dose vaccine. I don't think it requires the same refrigeration. And it runs the way the vaccine works is on nanoparticles, which is really fascinating. And we'll definitely go into some more of those details, because it really requires pictures to kind of show how these nanoparticles work. But it is interesting now that we are seeing the vaccines as of right now. We've seen some difficulty in with Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca. And as a result of some of those difficulties, I think we're starting to see some interest in other vaccines that are not mRNA based. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Novavax. I really do hope that Novavax becomes a vaccine that we focus on. It is a really successful vaccine. It is very good. And I think moving forward, hopefully we'll start to see more effort being placed into Novavax. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the stories. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you all here. And please hit the like button and share and what have you. This is the best way for people to find out about what it is that we're doing and what we are providing. And what we are providing is the best medical advice, the best show, I think, that is available, because we are really, quite frankly, giving our best, our all to this. Okay, so before we do that, I do want to focus on one thing, and I don't think that we've taken a moment here to focus on Pride. So I did want to say a couple words on Pride. And some, I think, some interesting stories about Pride. As all y'all know, I'm an infectious diseases doctor. I work, and while I myself don't identify in the LGBT community, I certainly work amongst many people, not only in my professional life and in my personal life. I do see a lot, and I interact with a lot of my LGBT brothers and sisters. But as one thing that I hear a lot from my patients is that those that are in the LGBT community, unfortunately, they do not disclose their sexuality to their healthcare providers. Unfortunately, but as providers, we need to pave a clear and open communication path to help our LGBT community know that they don't need to keep their sexuality from us. And it's very important for us to communicate to our LGBT patients that they won't face any stigma or judgment from us. And as their healthcare providers, we need to really help them, encourage them to come out, especially for those people who are younger as well. One thing that I like to tell the story of is my father, who was an optometrist in Los Angeles during the HIV epidemic, and there was no HIV test in the very beginning of the epidemic, and the only surefire way that you can get an HIV diagnosis was by having an optometrist or ophthalmologist or doctor or clinician look into the back of your eye to see if there was the telltale sign of HIV, which is something called CMV retinitis. CMV stands for cytomegalovirus, so CMV retinitis is an infection of the back of the eye, the retina. And a lot of people were coming to my father largely because they got kicked out of practices, or when doctors found out they were gay. And there was just a lot of homophobia. And I'm going to read some studies in a moment about how this homophobia hurts and literally takes a toll on people's lives. And as you guys know, I'm writing a book on discrimination medicine. This is a great example of discrimination medicine that exists, and how discrimination does hurt. But it's just very lucky that as a very young person, my father really made a point of teaching me, maybe knowing that I was going to ultimately become a doctor, maybe not. Maybe he saw that I had the mind of a clinician, the importance of tolerance, the importance of trying to be as non-biased, non-discriminatory as possible. So when I reach out to my colleagues, and again, we still see a lot of the healthcare system be biased against those in the LGBT community, particularly the T community. And I often tell, the somewhat embarrassing story about how when I started at a clinic, a couple of my my patients, clients that identify or that are people of trans experience, ended up firing me because they just did not find the clinic. And it was appropriately enough, the clinic was not necessarily built for them in terms of appreciating and appreciating their experience as a trans person. So, as a result of what the healthcare community and system has done, we've seen the LGBT community fear significantly. They fear stigma, and so they keep their identity hidden. And that may mean that they're not going to necessarily share their sexual identity or orientation with us as clinicians. So this is why it's important for us to be sorry. I'm just getting lots of text messages right now. And so this is why it's important for us to be able to provide the right care and to be able to talk about sexual behaviors, especially as it comes to health care. It affects what type of screening that we may do, especially around certain sexually transmitted infections. So something I think that is important for us to consider. And so I just wanted to kind of make that point to my colleagues that are healthcare providers. Okay, so moving on to I'm having some problems with my computer here, so forgive me. I don't know where I am. I don't even know. Hang on a second. Let me come back to here. Something is not right. Hang on. Whoa, something is way off right here. Okay, hello, I think I'm back. All right, this is not what's supposed to happen. My mouse is off. Something's not right. All right, let me head back here. Sorry, y'all. Let me get back to where I need to be. So my mouse is now turned into a Zoom versus not Zoom entity, which is not supposed to do that. So I'm going to just jump on this. At this point is when I would ask Doc Griggs to please take over for a second while I fix the mouse and the trackpad because something's not working. Tap to click, secondary click, tracking speed. All right. So what's going on here? Forgive me, y'all. Yeah, something's not right. Sorry. Oh man, I prepped a whole show and everything. Oh no, don't do this to me. The next story was so great. I really wanted to talk about what Columbia University is doing. I got a whole show to do here. And something is definitely off. What is going on? Hang on a sec. I may need to force quit some things here. I super duper apologize, y'all. Let me see if I can force quit this. I promise you guys, I do have a great show in store for y'all. And I think that we will be joined by Doc Griggs here soon. I think that I can't scroll for some reason. Ordinarily what I would do is restart my computer. If I restart my computer, I lose you guys. So I don't know how I could do. Let me see if I could do this. Yeah, look, it's not even working. Yeah, something's not right right now. I'm afraid if I I totally went through the process of prepping a show too, guys. Let me see if I can do this. So I think you guys can see that, but what I'm unable to do is I'm unable to scroll down. It's like I've lost the scroll function in my mouse. And again, this is the sort of thing where I would just need to restart my computer to figure out how to get there. Like things aren't even starting. It's like I need to restart my computer. I think I may need to bail out on this show, guys. What is going on? Yeah, all right, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to bail on the show, guys. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to say thank you for our listener here who's listening from the Netherlands. I super duper appreciate y'all. I think that's awesome. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on getting your first shot of Pfizer. I think that's awesome. Congratulations. And yeah, Tamiko and Sorry and Angela and those that are tuned in right now. I have no access to my scroll function, so I had a whole show prepped. I'll just basically use some of the show for next week as well. And we'll use that. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. I'm going to definitely need to restart my computer. We'll see you on Monday. I promise you, I will do the same monologue that I had actually written for Pride Month, as we didn't. I don't think we addressed Pride. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye. And we love you.